أهلا طلاب الصف الأول الإعدادي في حصة الإنجليش اللايف سيشن بتاعتنا النهاردة هنجاوب على بعض الأسئلة الصعبة اللي انتوا استصعبتوها شوية فاحنا هنحلها سوا. تمام؟ Let's start. So, all of you were asking about collocations. Collocations. يعني إيه collocation? So, collocations are 2 or 3 words that you use together to make a phrase. يعني هما كلمتين بيجوا سوا عشان خاطر نعمل جملة على بعضها. أو phrase, just a phrase, not a sentence. So, when you use these words together, they have a new meaning that they didn't have before. زي مثلا, take a break, take a break. Break لوحدها ممكن تبقى اللي هو يكسر حاجة, بس when I say take a break means to rest, to take some rest. ياخد break. So, here for example, we can say, I always a 10-minute break between my study sessions. So we had like this multiple choice question that says, I always a 10-minute break between my study sessions. The options we have are leave, fill, play, and take. So do I say I always leave a 10-minute break, fill a 10-minute break, play a 10-minute break, or take a 10-minute break? Take a 10-minute break, because we learned the collocation, which is take a break. We have another question here. It's a good idea to different ways to remember words. It's a good idea to different ways to remember words. What should I put before different ways? Underline, think about, delete, or think, just think. So the collocation we have here is think about. I can't just say it's a good idea to think different ways to remember words. That's not right. We need to say we have like different, or it's a good idea to think about different ways to remember words, like when you're studying for your vocabulary exam, for example. We have the word presentation. Presentation. So you can practice a presentation, make a presentation, or present a presentation. So when I say I need to a presentation, so I'm ready to give it in front of many people, to give a presentation, okay? So I need to, like to do what to my presentation before, or so I'm ready to give it in front of the whole class. Do I need to practice, take, break, or get? Of course, we need to practice. We need to practice before we do anything, so we are ready to do it. So you can practice your presentation. Another question on collocations would be, take notes on or make notes on. So I read the website and then the most important information in my notebook. What did I do to those important information? Did I take a break, thought about, practiced, or made notes on? So of course, you make notes on the important information. So I read the website and then made notes on the most important information in my notebook. Okay, let's move onward. Then we move to the WH object question words. The WH question words. For example, we have how, or who, or when, or where. So WH object question forms in the present and in the past. That's what we learned. To ask about an object in the present, we start with WH question word like do or does plus the subject. And then we have an example here, like when do you usually study? When, this is the WH question word. Do you usually study? And then we have how do you get to school? How do you get to school? So for the past, we use did instead of do or does. So at the beginning, we used do or does, like how do you get to school? Or when do you usually study? When do you usually get up? When do you usually get to school? How do you get to school? So I say how do you, when do you? That's in the present. What about like the past? In the past, we say did instead of do. So we say, what did people do in the past? Or how did people study before there were electric lights? That's another example. Now, a common mistake is using both did and the past verb to speak about the past. For example, where did you went? Some students would send me like, where did you went? No, it's not where did you went. If you're asking about the past, you say, where did you go? Because the past verb or the past tense here is shown on the first verb, which is verb to do. It became did. So I don't need to put it in the last verb. The last verb is in the infinitive form. So where did you go, not went. So here we have some questions like how long, and then you need to correct that, okay? So how long do you study last night? So how long do you study last night? I said last night. Last night here is the key word. So I say how long did you study last night and not do you study last night. Here we have another example, but this time it's not about the tense. So how do you get at school? Someone says by train or by bus, by car. So how do you get at school or you get to school? So please correct it. How do you get to school, not get at school? Let's move onward. All right, here is for the lesson that was somehow a bit about the brain and some biology. It was a little bit hard, but you need to study a little bit. So some of the questions were about the brain. Let's take one of them here. Different parts of the brain together to help us do different things like speaking, moving, and remembering. So our options are play, get, work, and correct. Which one is the right answer? So do we say different parts of the brain play together, get together, correct together? No. Different parts of the brain, they work together. So they do a specific job together to do what? To help us do different things like remembering or like speaking or moving. All of these are like different things that the brain cells work together to do. It's important for teachers too. Why lessons are helpful to make learning better. So what is important for teachers to do? To make why lessons are helpful, or explain why lessons are helpful, or leave why lessons are helpful, or throw how lessons are helpful. Of course, you see the word teacher, you put the verb explain, the explain. And then we have our brains have a habit of telling us the things we agree with are habits, opinions, facts, or feelings. Always remember that phrase. Our brains have a habit of telling us that the things we agree with are facts. Facts, they are not habits, they are facts. In the past, people believed the brain off when we went to sleep. So in the past, people believed that what happens to the brain and comes with the preposition like off, like shut off, turn off, and so on. So like produced off, increased off, reduced off, or turned off, to like shut down, turned off. People believed in the past, whenever we go to sleep, our brain just like turns off. The sperm whale has the biggest in the animal kingdom. So you know that the whole lesson is speaking about brains. So you know basically it's not his leg, it's not his tail, it's not his head. Most of the people did it as head, has like the biggest head. No, that's not right. It's the biggest brain. There is difference between the head and the brain. Okay, now moving to the grammar part. Most of you had questions on the relative clauses, like defining relative clauses. We use them to give more information about a noun phrase or about nouns, like people, places, things, or animals. So what are defining relative clauses? They are the clauses that start with who, when, or where, or whose, or even which or that. So remember those little tips. We use who to talk about people. We use which to talk about things. Note that we can use that to talk about both people and things, and it's less formal. Like, for example, this is the policeman who helped me cross the street. I said who because I'm speaking about the policeman, a person, people. However, I can still say, this is the policeman that helped me cross the street. So, this way I'm speaking in a less formal way. I used that instead of who. So, remember also, we use whose to show position by people or things, something that belongs to me, milkiyya. So, whose for الملكية. We use where to talk about location, the location of something, the place of something. And we use when to talk about time, the time. So, I have some questions for you here, and we're going to answer them together. That's the boy, and then we have blank. Then father is a teacher at school. I want to say that the father belongs to that boy. Would I say who, because father is a person? Or should I say whose father, because I'm speaking about the father of the boy. So whose father is a teacher at school? The second question is, this is the shop I buy all my notebooks. The shop here is a place. So I can say where, location, so where. So this is the shop where I buy all my notebooks. This is the website. Website is a thing. So I can say which. This is the website which explains grammar rules. And then we have students study every day, usually get better grades. So students who study every day or that study every day get better grades. I like classmates who or that share their notes with me. So in the last two, people get confused. They feel like, should I use who or that? You can use both, either of them. Okay, moving to the next part. Some of you had questions on some of the vocabulary words. So here is an example. My grandmother showed me to make cheesecake. So I want to say she showed me the way to do something. I say she showed me how to make cheesecake. So she doesn't show me that to make cheesecake. No, she shows me how to make cheesecake. We have the word here. We need to know what means is something that makes you angry. Is it annoying, surprising, wonderful, or fascinating? Some of you don't know the word fascinating, so they get a little bit confused. Fascinating is something that's great, it's amazing. So of course, it's not like something that makes you angry. However, we have the word annoying, something that annoys you. So if it annoys you, it makes you angry. So annoying is something that makes you angry. That's the right word. We have number 3 here. We should all have, which is like this is the ability to keep trying to do something and not give up. What is the ability to keep trying and never give up? Is it laziness, carefulness, patience, or sadness? It's patience. If you're patient enough, you'll keep trying over and over again and you never give up. Okay, this is one of the hard words, the word encourage. So, my parents always me to study harder. We have discourage, encourage, avoid, or refuse. So, do I say discourage, which is negative, or encourage? Of course, it's encourage because my parents, which is something good. So my parents always encouraged me to study harder. And that was it. That's all your questions. I hope I answered all of them. If you have any more questions, please list them in the comments below. See you next time. Bye.